Oh, wow, we're live. I usually put the 30-second countdown, but now we are live. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Crystal Clear Show. I'm your host, Crystal, and it's my passion to help professionals 30 and over to get unstuck from their corporate 9 to 5 jobs to launch and grow a successful six-figure business with my Crystal Clear blueprint. And today's guest, episode 20, with Hidden No More, Finding Your Purpose, is not only Jennifer Hall. Jennifer Hall is a daughter, wife, mom, and a Maryland native who resides in Katy, Texas, United States. She's a coach, and there was a time that has led her truly come out of hiding and embark on the journey of aligning and rising to her God given purpose and power. Hidden No More is a group in Facebook and a women's group, and it is a space to highlight women and their stories and empower, equip, and encourage other women to align and rise to their God given purpose and power. So, while honoring themselves through self love, self care, and self awareness, self compassion, and self empathy, let's welcome Jennifer Hall. Jennifer, welcome to Crystal Clear Show.
My goodness. Thank you so much, Crystal. It is such an honor to be here today. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for saying yes, and thank you for your time, Jennifer. I would like to announce first two exciting updates that are coming up very, very soon. I am launching the Crystal Clear 3-day challenge from June 14th to 16th, and I'm also launching Crystal Clear Big Time program, and that's so exciting. And I'm very, very excited to share my knowledge, what I have learned from all these years, all 11 years that we have been in business. I want to share them now to other women and aspiring entrepreneurs all over the world. So let's get into it. I usually ask this superhero question, and for most of my guests, they find it very difficult to answer it. And because we're not used to think of ourselves as a superhero. So I'm going to ask you first, what is your greatest strength, Jennifer?
Yes, Crystal. It's funny you asked that. Empathy is what I would have to say is my greatest strength and superpower. And it's something that, growing up and throughout my early years of life that I saw as a weakness. It was something
Mhm.
that I didn't really know. I wasn't really fully aware of, and I didn't know how to handle it. How I could so deeply feel what others were feeling and hurt with them and empathize with them on that level. And so I would say that now at this stage in my life, I can say that that is truly been my greatest strength and superpower in serving others well and loving others well, and being in a relationship with others.
Wow, that's great because there's not a lot of people who feel that there are people around them who empathize in their sufferings, who empathize through whatever they're going through, and having someone like you who is a person who has empathy is really gives courage. It's really amazing because it gives strength to other people when you feel what they're feeling. And unfortunately for me, I felt for a long time I didn't have empathy because I felt like, oh, okay, I was just curious. But and people tell me, how come you don't feel that? But now actually growing, being matured in age, and learning about empathy and about how God created us, I feel like, oh, and God has given me also some things in my life that made me feel like, oh, okay, now I feel what they're feeling. Because
Yes.
sometimes we're complacent in life, and we just think that things happen in life and we're not grateful for them. And when God brings some kind of disaster or something like that, then when somebody tells you about what they're going through, then you feel, oh, now I know what they feel. But it's really an amazing feeling for someone who is going through that rough period in life to have someone listen to them and care for them and truly be present with them. Just be there. So
Definitely.
if you will be a superhero with your empathy, Jennifer, who what would you be called?
So this was a challenging question, Crystal. You're so right. We don't think of ourselves in this regard, or think about this question as often. But it's a challenging one. But it was fun. It was fun. I will have to say, and it would be Shuri. I don't know if you're familiar with Shuri or those who are listening from the Black Panther, but Shuri was
Um,
bold and brave and brilliant. I mean, a technological mastermind, an innovator, beautiful inside and out, and she had a huge, deep value for family, and for her people. And so I would say that would be the superhero that I would see myself as. Yeah,
wow. Yeah, Shuri is Black Panther's sister, right?
yes, yes, she is
She
the
is.
princess of Wakanda.
Yeah. And you are your parents' princess because you are the only child also. So, and you are also in NASA, working with the NASA. So you're in this world in technology and things, and it really fits you well.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought so too. Definitely that piece of the technology and being a woman in STEM is huge for me as
Yeah.
well. So I definitely identify with that with her.
Yes, and we don't always hear people seeing her as a hero because she's quite a new hero also. So not a lot of people know her still. So, but I'm really surprised. Well, I'm not surprised that you chose her, but it really fits you well.
Well, thank
So
you.
I always ask also the quote, your favorite quote, and you gave me a quote from Howard Thurman that said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it." Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And I couldn't agree more. Why did you really choose this one?
Yeah, Crystal, this is huge for me. With Hid No More and walking alongside women, helping them to align and rise to their purpose and power. And it's so crucial in life for us to really discover what is that thing that truly, truly helps us and allows us to fly. Encountering that along our journey, I think it's one of the most important things that we can do throughout our lives. There's a quote by Miles as well that says, "The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without purpose." And we all have been created with a purpose in
Yeah,
mind before the foundations of the earth. And so, not having that opportunity or not embarking on that journey to find out what that is, and
yeah.
experiencing that moment of coming truly alive, is something that I think is so critical for each and every one of us.
I'm sure some people will ask what for those who will watch this later or for those who are hearing this now, but they will ask themselves, but what if I don't know what my purpose is? Can you tell me how did you find your purpose, or how can one person find his or her purpose? Because for a long time I didn't know what my purpose is neither. I asked God, is my purpose just being a mom, a wife? Am I just going to be here, just follow the rules, follow what whoever, or follow my husband, follow my mom, follow them? What is it for me? And I for so long I struggled asking God, what is my purpose? What is my true purpose? Because I didn't believe that I have talents and abilities. I just thought the talent is dancing and singing. And for both of those, I'm not really good at that. So, but now I realize that talent is more than just singing and dancing. It's talking, networking, writing, journaling is even one of the talent because not a lot of us loves doing it, but it's also necessary for our growth. But then how can you help us? How can we find our purpose? What are the questions that we need to ask God or ourselves? How can we know?
Yeah, yeah. That's such a loaded question, Crystal. I think oftentimes we overcomplicate and we get so stuck on the finding part that we
Right.
miss it, that we miss it. And so I think I've seen that so many times. It's that we want to find out what our purpose is so bad that
Yes.
we miss the actual purpose and the purposeful things in our lives along the way. And
Mhm.
oftentimes we do, like you said, is our gifts, and we all have gifts and we all have talents and abilities. I think our purpose is something that we so easily do that we don't
Mhm.
identify as purpose. Something for me is just serving people. Serving people is it. It's my purpose, right? And I can see that in every area of my life. It becomes purposeful in every area that I show up in. And so
Oh,
I think that piece right there, just slow down. As we were talking about just a little bit ago, being
yeah,
present in our
right.
lives, in our journey, that it's not so much of that striving and just all of the energy that we're using to try to find it, and becoming more
Mhm.
restful and present with where we are, that God will allow us to discover that
Oh,
and we will
yes.
come fully alive.
It's true. It's true because when I stopped and I was present in the presence of God and I asked him, "What do you want me to do?" And that's when I realized, yeah, but I'm already doing my purpose. Well, I'm in the business, but I really didn't consider myself this as my purpose because I enjoy talking with people. I enjoy being with people, talking, chatting, and helping them do this, helping them find out this, and even sometimes helping them with their allergies. This, oh, just cream. Oh, I know a cream that's good for that. Or oh, I know the essential oil that's just good for the baby's cough. And I really didn't know that that was my purpose. And it's just the things that come out naturally.
Yes.
And and people will say, "Oh, how?" Oh, when sometimes when they have question, like one cousin, my husband's cousin, and they have this baby, and they didn't know what to do because the baby was irritable, and they said, "Oh, we need to call Crystal because she knows what to do." And and I was like, "Oh, okay." So funny,
I
but
love
then
it.
for me, that wasn't a big deal, and actually, that's just why you are here on earth. That's
Yes.
doing what you love so naturally without so much effort. And that's really helping people, serving people, giving value to them. And that's the ultimate purpose of life, also, isn't it? It's being there for them and living the life because God gives you the rest.
That's right.
Whatever you need, He will give you the rest because there's just an abundance in this world, and whatever you think you lack, just go to the Father and
Oh,
He will provide.
yeah,
So
for sure.
it's so beautiful, and it's true. It's really, we don't need to ask what the world needs. It's really, how do we come alive? And I come alive for me just being here in Facebook, talking and being with different people, learning from different coaches all around the globe. And it just come alive also with this. So I would like to ask you this very big question. What is your biggest why? And that also is like, okay, what's my purpose? What's my why? But for you, what is your biggest why, Jennifer?
So that is a good question, Crystal. I would have to say just simply faith and family for me, and just in continuing to speak to purpose. My heart is always longed and ached and seen other people live out to their full God-given potential, to birth and see out, step into their purpose, and to for for people to see themselves, specifically women, to see themselves how God sees them, to believe what He says about them, and to know that, man, they are fully known and fully loved, fully seen, accepted, enough, and worthy. And I lead with that in my home, in my
Mhm.
marriage, as a mother, as a sister to many unbiological sisters, and people in my life. That is truly that is my why. That is at the core, of the
Wow.
things that I do and how I show up.
Mhm. Oh, that's amazing. So, when did you start this journey of helping people? You mentioned that you were an only child. So most of the time, when we think of an only child, oh, they're this what do you call that? Um, I always tell my kids this kids or rotten kids or what you when you get a lot of attention, all the attention in the world that you will need, but you are not rotten because you are giving value to others. And so where did you start this journey of brats? Yes, that's a word. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yes, Crystal. Where did I start this journey? Well, it's funny because Jason and I both we realized maybe like 5 years ago that as far
Mhm.
as being in this space, in this coaching space, this marketplace ministry, that this has been something that we've been doing all our lives. We were always those people, as you were speaking to, that others shared their deep secrets with, that others would just come up to us and start talking about or sharing certain deep things, about their lives and crying out. We were always those people, even at a young age, I would say. And it's not something that I identified or really understood, until later down the line. And again, there was much more clarity that came about 5 years ago. And it's like, we've been doing this for a really long time without even realizing it. And so, wow, like what would it look like, to take this to a different level, and show up and have this be a marketplace ministry, where we would coach and walk alongside people in birthing their dreams and living out their purpose. And 5 years ago is when it became, what I'll use, no pun intended, crystal clear, where we really saw, and identified that, wow, like this is something that we've already been doing naturally, right? It's like when we were talking about our purpose, it's something that you do so naturally that you don't even realize that you've been doing it all along, and it was something that came easy to you, and something that you didn't even consider as a gift or an ability, something that was so valuable to other people and impacting lives, on the scale that it was. And so I'd say that about 5 years ago, where it became crystal clear that we officially started on this journey in this space. We've been in
Mhm.
ministry for years and years, and our entire marriage, even before, we've worked in ministry together, in youth ministry as youth pastors, young adult pastors, and even then we were doing it without realizing it, right? To a certain
Right.
extent, in a different space. But yeah, about 5 years ago that it became crystal clear that, oh, like this is something, there's something more here. And what does it look like for us to,
Mhm.
really step into this?
Wow. And now you are here with me today, and I'm in Europe. You are in Texas, and it's an amazing because if you have not decided to go into this journey, we would not meet. And I'm just so happy and grateful. And my mother's saying she's watching us now. Hello, mom. It's good to hear followers of God talk about how they cope with life's challenges as young mothers. So I really have a really very supporting and loving mother, and I'm so grateful for her. So would you say that you are already successful in work and in your life, Jennifer?
I would, Crystal. I loved this question. I do, and I think we all, at some point or another, really have to sit down and define for ourselves what is success for us. For me, there are many crazy successful people in life who have everything that they've ever dream of. Their hands are full of all the things that they thought they ever wanted, but they're still miserable. And so
Right.
for me, like somewhere along the journey, I had to really define for myself what does success look like. And we talked a little bit about that before we came online, just having that harmony again within my faith and my family, and as well is in our businesses and ministry, and what that looks like to be in harmony, right? To be in a flow, where there's a balance and a harmony in that. And even to take it a step further, I don't even like using the term success.
Mhm.
I look at the word greatness, Crystal, and I don't know if you know Lewis Howes, and he recently released a book some months ago called The Greatness Mindset. But he defines it like this: He says, pursuing your goals and dreams in the service and impact of others in that process. And so I think when we look at success and it's single layered and it's just down to us, and not others, we have an opportunity for great things to happen, to transition into greatness. And we were all destined for greatness and created and fashioned for greatness by the greatest one ever. And so I think we have an awesome opportunity to even look past success and again to define it for ourselves, and allow greatness to come about
Right.
in our lives, and
Yeah.
what that looks like to be aligned with who we are and how God has uniquely created each and every one of us.
Oh, I love it. I love when you said pursuing your goals and dreams in impact lives, to impact lives. And it's true because, like what you said, there are people who are successful in life and that they have already everything that they need, but they are so miserable in their lives. And when you impact lives, you feel challenged at the same time, aren't you? And then you want more, to give more, to be more, so that you can give more and more and more. And and it's true. And you when you know that people are watching you in whatever you do, you are already impacting lives. But then when you are conscious of doing it and pursuing your goals at the same time, and your dreams, and it just adds up, and it's just a wonderful life to live and to be also. And because like you said, we are created with in greatness by the greatest the creator, and we have everything that we need, all the talents and the abilities and all the resources that we need. So we just need to use them well, use them wisely, but most of all, give value, because that's our ultimate purpose in life. Do you have three best practices that you could give us and that we could implement daily, so that in order for us to be successful in our lives, in our businesses, in family life?
Yes, Crystal, I do. And those three things that I would say that should be at the foundation of everything that we do is to love well, to live well, and to rest well. And those
Mm,
foundational pieces and those together are so critical. Loving well, God is Himself is love. We can find all throughout where there's three things: faith, hope, and love. The greatest of these is love. And then the commandment in Mark 12, chapter 12, verses 30 to 31, you shall love the Lord God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. And the second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There's no other greater commandment than these. And so loving well and then living it. Oh man, living well. Life is so fragile and fleeting. So to
True.
live life full, to really maximize the moment. I used to say day by day, but here lately in the past couple of years, he has me just moment by moment. That's really
Yeah.
all we're promised is that next moment. And so maximizing it, taking full advantage of it and living it fully out. There's this quote, one of our former pastors, Jason and I, and a mentor, he said, share your life and live your faith and living out your faith fully alive in alignment with what God has purposed and placed in your heart to do, letting your light shine and letting him get the glory for it. And then resting well. And I think rest is the recipe to success. We want to talk about success again. Rest has to be a part of that recipe. I have a
Mm,
sister who reminds me often that you can't pour from an empty cup. And I lived a good portion of my life giving so much of myself to the extent of detriment, at the expense of my health, at the expense of happiness and my family. And God's really, really pulled me into that. I have to have healthy rhythms of rest. They are essential. Even Jesus had to rest. He
yes.
had to retreat. And he was very, very mindful and placed boundaries around his time. And so taking that and just, we can be accessible. I've always wanted to be accessible, but not always being available because we have to be considerate of what our capacity is in that moment for ourselves, for our family, for God, and then lending that out to others. What does that look like in any given moment? So finding that unique sacred pace for ourselves. What does that look like for ourselves? And it'll look different in different seasons. And
Right.
even embracing that in different seasons, rest might look different for you, but loving well, live well, and resting well. Three components that I think are so critical in our daily lives and that we can implement in any space. That would help.
Wow. I love when you said so this three foundation again, loving well, living well, and resting well. So rest well. And it's very important. And I love we already mentioned it earlier before this live broadcast about boundaries. Can you help us? How do we set healthy boundaries? Because, like what you said, we are acceptable, but always always be acceptable, but not always available. But when you're in a ministry, sometimes it's so difficult to say no because it's our mission. It's a ministry. It's then people need us all the time. Can you help us? How can we set healthy boundaries?
Wow. Yes, Crystal. Yes. Boundaries. Wow. They're so crucial, right? And boundaries, I think identifying first and foremost, boundaries are not selfish.
Mm,
Boundaries are it's self-care, it's self-love, it's self-awareness, it's necessary. Again, even Jesus set boundaries around his time. There was time where he rested and he retreated. And so boundaries are, again, they're so crucial. In just being able to identify that, um again, in any moment, right, that our time is so valuable. That has been so huge for me in knowing and seeing the need for the boundaries. Our time is so valuable. It's not something that we can get back. And when we value our time differently, then
mhm,
we will set the necessary boundaries to protect and prioritize that time. And so
right.
identifying that, and then thirdly, I would say just taking the time to really assess our priorities first too as well, because that's going to help us set boundaries around what is priority in our lives, what is here and what is there, and being able to set those clear boundaries around those things, so that again, so that we can protect and prioritize them, and just see that boundaries are beneficial not only to us, but to others
Wow.
as well. It's a powerful thing, and it's a necessary thing. As you said, my phone, I detach from my phone often. It's my kids, it
Yeah.
drives them crazy. So they're teenagers, so their phone is constantly in their
Yeah.
hands, and I oftentimes don't know where my phone is, and it drives
Mm,
them crazy. They're like, "Mom,
right.
you need," but it's intentional. It's an intentional thing. And one
Mm,
boundary that I've had to set is, as you said, it does ring and notifications go off quite often. Being in the position that and being seated where we are,
right.
that yes, you have to do it. You have to do it for
Mhm.
you and for others, and it treats others how to treat you. You're showing other people how to treat you and setting those boundaries.
Yes, exactly. So let me rephrase again. Boundary is not selfish. So I'm just reminding everyone who are watching us today and who will be watching us later, setting boundaries is not being selfish. It is necessary for self-care. And I have even an example for that, and I shared it with you earlier, that we have an office here and we have a cleaning service. We have 150 people working for us. So we are very busy, and but we love treating our employees to a park once a year during our anniversary. So in June, we treat our employees and their families to a theme park or to a zoo. So and sometimes people would ask us, can we bring our planning our schedules, and can we just give it to you and remit it to you because it's the end of the month anyway, and can we give it to you instead of us going to the office? And we're like, no, it's time to enjoy. So
Yes.
please, our office is open from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and we are going to the theme park this Saturday. So that's not office hours, and we want to enjoy, not do our work. So, and they say, oh, okay, okay, okay. Then we'll go to the office either before or after the event. And it's like that, setting healthy boundaries because we don't want to mix the free time, this this time with them, knowing them, getting to know them again, because we only see each other once a year with their families. We
Mhm.
see our workers often, but not their families. So we want to spend time and and get to know them and ask them how they are. So and they say, okay, okay, and they respect that. So because in the beginning, we have already said that we're open 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. On Saturdays, we're not going to answer our phones, even if you know our cell phone numbers. In the beginning, they were like, "Oh, they're shocked," but it's work, it's business. But for us, we say, "No, it's not. It's our family time," and they appreciate that because then it's a different interaction as well,
Yeah,
because if it's always business all the time, then it's not good. Well, need also.
that's so true.
And and the people respect you, and people say, oh yeah, they're reminded that, okay, for me, I think I need to do that for me as well. If they can say no, then I can say no. And it's true, because most of the people do not put boundaries. They're afraid of what other people might think,
Yes,
or or they're afraid of rejection and stuff like that. But self-care is very important, like what you said earlier. You cannot pour from an empty cup, so you need to love yourself more, respect yourself more, and then you can help others, like in the airplane,
put on
when
your
they
mask first.
put on
Yes,
your mask first
yes,
before you help your kids, even if
right.
they're smaller, because you cannot help them if you're dead immediately, and what will happen to them. So there,
Yes,
put on your mask first so that you will be able to help others fully.
that's it.
And I would like to ask you, because we are already in the end of our program. It went by so fast. i
It
enjoyed
did.
i enjoyed this time with you, Jennifer.
I have
In
as well,
the
Crystal.
Yes. My mom has been, she says, I love you always, and hello to you, Jennifer.
Hello, Mom. Hello. So glad you're here.
Yes. She said, you have a very realistic approach in life. Yes.
Thank you.
Very simple and very realistic. It's true. And I love that you simplify things, and the way you express them are just so simple and very easy to remember, and very applicable in our daily lives. So
Yes.
I would like to ask you if there is one last for we have talked for more than 30 minutes now. And if someone will just come and join us now and they will remember one thing from this episode, what would it be? Can you share a crystal clear gem that our viewers will remember?
Crystal clear gem. Definitely would have to be this crystal, something that we run across so often and we've experienced ourselves, is that when it really comes down to it, God is really just wanting our yes. He's really just wanting our yes. We shared a quote recently. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. And the first step, you all, is saying yes to God, yes to Him. In the rest, He will take care of you, be with you there all along the way. There are people waiting on the other side of your yes. What He's placed inside of you is someone's answer to prayer. And so someone's praying right now for what God has placed inside of you. And what we always tell our clients, there's only one you, and there's only you can do what you can do the way that you do it. You are unique, multi-layered, beautiful, fearfully and wonderfully made being. And what He's placed inside of you is needed in this earth. And so as Crystal, I've been talking today about purpose. This is so much bigger than any of us. This is about others who are in need of and who are waiting for that gift, for the purpose that lies right within you. And God's given you everything. Crystal said it multiple times throughout this. God's given you everything that you need in order to birth it forth, in order to start impacting lives and serving others with what He's placed inside of you. So say yes. Say yes.
Yes, it's true. God has planted the seeds in our hearts, and it's true. He just needs us to say yes. I actually watched the Yes Man during the pandemic. It's from what's that called? Um, I'm going to remember. And Jim Carrey, yes, that's his name. So it's a
Yes.
very, very old movie, and it's called Yes Man. And I really love Jim Carrey. Growing up, I would always want to watch all his movies. And but this one I wasn't able to see in the movies or even in the TV. And I recently came across with it, and this movie was saying, okay, he met someone and who was in part of like a cult, but then he says, okay, I'm going to try what he's doing, and he says, okay, I'm going to say yes to everything. But he was surprised because he thought it was a cult, but it was um a Christian conference, and they were saying, okay, yes to God, to everything that God has planted to their in their hearts. And he was so surprised of what the results were when he said, because he was negative all the time before, and when he started saying yes, they're just surprises and blessings upon blessings. And it's true, like I said earlier, we have an abundant Father. We He has everything that we need, and we just need to say yes to whatever He has planted in our hearts, and He will give us the people that we need, the resources that we need.
Yes.
He will open the doors, even the windows for us if necessary, because He just wants us to give value, to use the talents that He has given us.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you for saying yes to be part of this show, the Crystal Clear Show. And I am so honored to have you in this program today. So thank you again, Jennifer, for being the guest on my podcast. And as always, I would like to invite our friends to join Jennifer in her Facebook group, Hidden No More Women. So that's the name of her Facebook group. And I would like to invite you once again to the upcoming Crystal Clear 3-day challenge on June 14th to June 16th and the Crystal Clear Beta program. So remember, everyone, where you are going doesn't matter. Where you are doesn't matter. Where you are going does. So get crystal clear wherever you go. Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Thank
Mom. Have a
you.
good day. Bye.